Now, President Donald Trump last night had an incredible royal welcome as he met with King Charles. The King, who's also, of course, our head of state, did more to defend AUKUS than Albanese has ever done.
Tyranny once again threatens Europe. We and our allies stand together in support of Ukraine to deter aggression and secure peace. And our AUKUS submarine partnership with Australia sets the benchmark for innovative and vital collaboration.
There were some pointed comments both about Ukraine and AUKUS. Now Trump has just farewelled the King and he's now meeting with Keir Starmer as we speak. And joining me now to discuss is News Corp's UK correspondent Sophie Elsworth. Sophie, first can you tell us about Trump's meeting with the King and Queen?
Absolutely, Sharri. Great to be with you. Look, they had a day of festivities yesterday at Windsor, just outside London. It was jam-packed. It was all behind closed doors before they had that pinnacle event, the state banquet last night in the giant ballroom inside Windsor Castle. And we heard from both the King and President Trump. We know that President Trump speaks very fondly, and he spoke very fondly of Britain. He's excited to be here. And he spoke of the fond relationship between the two nations and how he wants to continue having that great relationship with the US. And likewise to King Charles, he also spoke fondly of the US, the importance of the bilateral relationship between the two nations. So all the reporting here, Sharri, from the British press is that it has been an extremely successful state visit so far. But now it moves to the more diplomatic side of things when President Trump today meets with British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer.
I'll get to the Keir Starmer meeting in a moment, but I mean, just looking at those pictures, it's always such a joy to see the fashion and the pageantry at its finest, the gold carriage that Trump travelled in, flanked by page boys, and the beautiful dresses worn by the Queen, the Princess and the First Lady. Can you tell us a bit about what they wore?
Absolutely, Sharri. So they obviously went for their local designers, Princess Catherine wearing British designer, and First Lady Melania Trump wearing a US designer. Look, there has been criticism of the First Lady. She chose that very bright gown that she wore last night, and there was criticism about it. Some of the press here saying it was so bright you needed to have sunglasses on. But look, they both, I think, stole the room with their beautiful gowns at this event, which is so prestigious, and all eyes are on the fashion as much as what unfolds in that room where there were 160 guests.
So now coming to the President Trump's meeting with Keir Starmer, as I understand it, they're in talks right now. What's on the agenda for these discussions?
So, Sharri, President Trump has arrived at Chequers. He arrived there by Marine One, and now they will have a light lunch today. And then there is expected to be this press conference. Now, there's going to be many important things on the agenda, we expect. There's a number of things such as trade deals. There's also many issues that Trump has pointed out here in Britain, such as the migration crisis. There's also the recognition that Keir Starmer has announced of Palestinian statehood here in Britain, which he will begin once this visit finishes, and something that President Trump fundamentally disagrees with. So there's going to be a lot on the agenda here. And also, Sharri, not to forget that just last week, Sir Keir Starmer sacked the UK ambassador to the US, Lord Peter Mandelson, over his tight relationship with the convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. So they're without an ambassador, which has been very damaging. So there's a lot to come from today. I suspect Sir Keir will be relatively quiet during this press conference because, as we know, it's usually the US president who does all the talking.
And by the way, I hope Donald Trump sends a strong message to Keir Starmer about the recognition of Palestine. I also want to ask you just about Keir Starmer generally, because he's had a stunning fall from grace. He won last year's election with a majority landslide and is now facing unrest, immigration levels, rallies in the streets, disastrous polling. How serious is the leadership speculation in the Labor Party there?
It's extremely serious, Sharri. I mean, even the left-wing media here is saying that he is in a lot of trouble. We know that he's had bad headline from bad headline. It continues to roll on for him. And this has been a bit of a circuit breaker to divert the media attention away from the mess that Sir Keir is in to the state visit that is unfolding here at the moment. And as we know, Reform UK, the up-and-coming party led by Reform leader Nigel Farage, is the hottest ticket in town at the moment. And they're the ones that are drawing all the momentum. They're getting all the good headlines with their attack on migration problems and so forth. And the issue here that he just cannot get a hold on, Sir Keir, is the migration crisis. And this one-in, one-out deal with France has failed miserably. So he's in an awful mess, Sharri. His honeymoon period is certainly over.
Sophie Elsworth, brilliant reporting as always. Thank you so much. It's just so wonderful to see all those luxurious pictures and the gold carriage and the pomp and ceremony and the beautiful dresses.